Hi, everybody. It's Miss Sarek. I hope you're all doing well. Miss you very much. I'm here to read to you today a book that I enjoy a lot. It's called Rosie Revere Engineer. It's by Andrea Beatty and it's illustrated by David Roberts. I'm going to start off by reading the blurb on the side to you so you know what the story is about. Rosie may seem quiet during the day, but at night she's a brilliant inventor of gizmos and gadgets who dreams of becoming a great engineer. So, boys and girls, before we get into reading, remember that engineers are thinkers who design, build, or maintain machines, engines, public works. An engineer can create a new idea to solve a problem, or they can improve on others' ideas to make them even better. Boys and girls, also remember that reading is thinking. While I read today, I might ask you to stop and think, visualize, predict, make a connection, or ask a question. Rosie Revere Engineer. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. I'm going to zoom in here and I want you to see. Which one do you think is Rosie? And what clues in the text tell you? If you spotted Rosie right here, you're correct. How do I know? Because the author said that she looks shy. She doesn't dare to speak. And when I look at that page there, that's exactly what I see. Nice job. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. The uncle she loved most was Zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head, from parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, truly I do. But Rosie knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf and after that day kept her dreams to herself. And that's how it went until one autumn day her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked up to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly, but time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. So, boys and girls, we meet this new character here, Rosie's great-great-aunt Rose. She's having a flashback here. Remember, a flashback is a memory of when she was a young engineer herself. See her scarf here? Same one. So what do you think about this character here? What about great-great-aunt Rose? Do you think she's going to bring Rosie some ideas here? Is she going to shut her down like her uncle? Make a prediction. That night, as Rosie lay wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, "No, not I." But questions are tricky and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Helio cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Oh no. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, "Oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer." What are you thinking right now? She turned round to leave, but then Great-Great-Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. "You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next." Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. "I failed," said dear Rosie. "It's just made of trash. Didn't you see? The cheese copter crashed." "Yes," said her great aunt, "it crashed, that is true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew." I love this part. Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. I want you to check out the illustration here, boys and girls, and make an inference. Remember, when you infer, you take clues plus what you already know, and you make like a guess. So how do you infer that these characters here are feeling? Throw a few words out there like motivated, happy, ready to work, right? And I would say, how do you know? And you would say, well, I see the sign here that says we can do it. And I see there's smiles on Rosie's face and on Aunt Rose's face. And I see all these materials here that tells me that they're really ready to work. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 built gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. Awesome. Boys and girls, I hope that you enjoyed the book. I want you to think about, how did you like this book? Would you recommend it to somebody? If your answer is yes, I want you to look over here to the right and see that this book here comes in a series. There's Ada Twist Scientist, Iggy Peck Architect, Rosie Revere's Big Project Book for Bold Engineers. There's also 2 chapter books, and then Epic also suggests more like this. Remember, when you ever are reading on Epic and you come to the end of the book and you're about to finish it, check out that stuff over there to the right. Remember, you want to build authors and genres and different topics that you like. I finished this book and get the credit for it. Took me 19 minutes, 87 points, and I am complete. Nice. Thank you for joining me, boys and girls. I cannot wait to see you in the fall.